right, let's have a discussion about who the next guy up for Oklahoma might be in the 2020 class at running back. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I'm not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. So it's college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today, I want to have a discussion about who could be up next for Oklahoma in this 2020 class at running back. You'll know Jace McClellan signed with Alabama after a 2-year commitment with Oklahoma that got flipped. Nick Saban comes into your house, says, hey, you want to come to Alabama? He says yes. And now the crown jewel of the 2020 class for Oklahoma signed with Alabama. And there's a number of people that are very upset about how this was handled by Jace and his family. I'm not one of them. Kid does what he wants to do. I wish him well. That also means that there is an opening at running back besides Seth McGowan. And I always thought this was a little bit of an awkward pairing between McGowan and McClellan because both of those guys are what I would call power backs. They both are bruisers. They both are between the tackle kinds of guys. And it's not necessarily that they're slow, because they're not, but they certainly are the kind of guys that might get chased down from behind. I think Jonathan Taylor, who is an outstanding tailback and is going to be outstanding in the NFL, but he could be chased down from behind. Same thing with J.K. Dobbins, who a lot of people compare to like Doug Martin at the next level. Chuba Hubbard, for me, would have been the better back of those guys. I also like Travis Etienne in there too, because he just ain't going to get caught from behind. But a guy that is quite literally just not going to get caught from behind is Corey Wren, 2020 tailback out of John Curtis, plays for the Patriots. He has legitimate 4.31 40-yard dash speed. He has busted 10.41 in the 100 meters dash, and he has won a state championship in the 60 meters at 6.80, which is flying. And when you're watching his tape, you'll see a guy that is outstanding catching the ball out of the backfield, which is a large part of the offense at Oklahoma. It's not just handing it to you and letting you do what you do. It's also his hands when on the option pitch, where he knows what's coming. He knows how to hit the jets. He likes the high step. He likes to run past people. He could be a dynamic in Oklahoma's offense in the same way that many people like Chris Tyree, who signed with Notre Dame. I put him in the all-purpose category in a lot of ways that people don't, because of his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and because he can help you return kicks, he can help you return punts, he can line up in the slot. He doesn't have the size that you would want, but you're really never going to be that fast to be that big. And I think he's a great complement to Seth McGowan. I think if you have both of those guys in the backfield, you could have perhaps a pairing that is not unlike Mixon and Pirine, though Mixon was much larger and every bit of a 5-star tailback. But in this deep 2020 class, the one thing that you were able to rebound from in this class was running back, because there were so many running backs in this class that were just that good. So of all the kiddos to perhaps leave you in the lurch, you would pick a running back to do that in this year, because while there are guys that are off the board, quite a number of them, I believe Zach Evans is all but going to LSU at this point, though he's one of the only guys in this class. And I'm like, show me the national letter of intent, and then I'll believe you about where he signed to. And there's other guys that I really, really liked in this class. I mentioned Chris Tyree, but also Kendall Milton. I really enjoyed him. And Bijan Robinson, I think, has an opportunity to really get Texas up and going. But Corey Wren would be a sneakily good pickup for Oklahoma on National Signing Day in February. And I think they're going to move all their chips into the Corey Wren pile. But you'll know that, hey, man, USC got in there and Texas got in there right after Oklahoma made an offer. But Arizona State feels like the leader right now with Herm Edwards and what he has decided to do with his offense and the way that they use tailbacks. I mean, Benjamin got all the carries this year and last year, and they love to give the ball to a single tailback. Jaden Daniels is going to be a great quarterback, and I think Arizona State is going to be my sneaky pick to win the Pac-12 next year. That said, Oregon's defense is going to be filthy. With Noah Sewell, Kayvon Thibodeau, and now Justin Flo on the same defense. Oh, I'm going to have so much fun watching them play football. They're so good. And I really, really, really love the idea of Corey Wren helping out this 2020 class. I would also like the idea of a quarterback being joined in this class. Chandler Morris said he's going to announce the Under Armour All-American game. But you got to also remember, if you're counting, and I am because it's kind of my job, Oklahoma is kind of over the scholarship limit at present, and that's if Caleb Kelly is gone and both Kenneth Murray Jr. and CeeDee Lamb enter the draft, right? You need more transfers to go out the door is what I'm saying here, and I get that you might think that that's going to happen. Maybe you know something that somebody else doesn't, and yes, I factored in Michael Jones into this. You're at like 85 barely, 86 barely, depending on some moving and some shaking. So I'm going to be interested to see what happens and how much of Corey Wren you can actually go get. The same thing with Alfred Collins at defensive line. I'm going to see how much of that dude you can go get. But you're going to need some help here, and I'm not sure where they're planning to get it from or who it is that perhaps I might have miscounted here because, again, going through it, everybody that signed, including Reggie Grimes, who I think is going to sign, you're going to need some help here. But if you get some help and you can somehow pull a scholarship from somewhere that I'm just not looking, Corey Wren would be an outstanding fit here, but you're still going to have to beat out USC. You're going to have to beat out Texas. You're going to have to beat out Arizona State to do it. And there was a day for which I would have been like, Oklahoma is going to beat out anybody for a running back in that particular group. But seeing as what Alabama just did, you can see how that's got some flaws to it. And you also have to remember that you really need TJ Pledger to come back. There have been some rumors about perhaps him going to the portal. You don't know whether Trey Sermon might end up grad transferring. We'll see about how that goes. And Kennedy Brooks, is going to be your back of the future, but you need help here, man. And you're going to need Seth McGowan to play a lot. You're going to need Marcus Major to come back from his shoulder surgery and be ready to go. So there's a lot on the line here, even as this 2020 class has been quietly very, very good. So there's plenty to watch for over the next 2 months about the current roster team makeup and whether or not you can put a guy in here like Corey Wren or even Alfred Collins on the defensive line. All right, that's it for me. Doses.